right, week 5, Stallions game, and we're going into the Panthers game. I can't believe we're at the midway point of the season already. It goes by so fast. The Maulers are 1-3. They look improved? We'll discuss more, but it's week 5. First, we'll look back on week 4. Stallions, one of the better teams in the league, were pushed to their limits. Deion Kane bails them out with a long touchdown return at the end. They take the lead 24-20 in a game that really felt like the Maulers were in the entire time, not just on the scoreline, but even talent-wise, which a lot of people question if they were in the same league as the Stallions going into this. And there's no question at all that this defense is elite, the offense is getting better, and the special teams are pretty good, and good coaching. And it's just the little things. And the Stallions game symbolizes the end of the playoff teams for the Maulers from last year. They already played the Breakers. They already played the Generals one time. They already played the Stallions. And they already played the Stars. Obviously, they beat the Stars. So we're looking forward to that next game against Philadelphia. But then you got New Jersey again. But now you got 2 Panther games in there in the last 6 games. And then you got the Showboats and the Gamblers, 2 teams that are ascending right now a little bit, but capable wins. There's no real big team right now left on the schedule outside of possibly the Generals. So they've got to take care of business now. Now it's the business part of it. You had the learning part. Now it's business. What you need to know, it's really simple this week. Turnovers. The Maulers are +2. No turnovers from this offense, and you still didn't win. It's a little disappointing, let's be honest. 2 interceptions, Keith Gibson and Mark Gilbert with the interceptions. The defense backs were flying everywhere. Eli Walker had a great game. It just feels like this team is starting to click even more. The second stat of the day is red zone touchdowns, and this is what we really need to work on as Maulers. Or they need to work on. Us Mauler fans are really hoping they figure out 0 touchdowns in 3 attempts. I believe last week it was 1 for 4. It just you can't win football games when you're 1 for 7 and you're the worst in the red zone. Like, you're not going to be a playoff team if you are 1 for 7 in the red zone. It just they've got 2 touchdowns out of 3. And they won by 4. Think about that. If the Maulers just go 1 for 3, the game's tied. So I just feel like we've got to figure out a way, or the Maulers got to figure out a way how to punch it in. And then the rushing game. The rushing game was anemic outside of Troy Williams scampering. Grosher, 5 carries, 19 yards. London, 1 carry, 3 yards. So that's out of your 2 running backs, 6 carries for 22 yards. I'm not a mathematician, but that's not great. Troy Williams had 63 yards, most of it scampering and Henny on reverses and stuff like that. 2 carries for 15 yards. But the running game definitely has to get better because the passing game did get better this week. And it had over 200 yards passing. If I'm not trying to be smart here, but he had more passing in week 4 than he did week 1 and week 2 combined as a team. Think about that. So the passing game's accelerating. They're ascending. They're getting better. The rushing game's got to get there. And the rushing game can't be just Troy scampering. They got to be able to get to 3rd and 1s. They got to be able to get the short yardage in the red zone. So player of the week was definitely Troy Williams this week. Settled the offense. We have our quarterback, I think, right now. 21-33, 217 yards, 1 rushing touchdown, 63 yards, big scamper to take the lead late to get us to 20. And then Henny on the reverse for the 2-pointer, and it just felt like, oh, okay, let's go. But so he had the rushing touchdown. Troy Williams felt comfortable in there. It seems like he's advancing every single week, so we'll look forward to it. Flames, passing offense, I'm giving a 7 out of 10 just because of where it's been and where it's going. I think it can get better, but at the same time, it was pretty good. Rushing offense, 3 out of 10. We just talked about this. The offensive line has to be able to open up holes for these running backs. Garrett Groshek and Madre London will hit the holes if there's holes. Right now, though, I really believe that the offensive line is struggling. Defense, 7 out of 10. Maybe their worst game, maybe not. I don't know. It's tough to judge when you're so good every single week. I'm trying to get tougher, especially with that grade. But missing Reuben Foster, you didn't really notice. With all due respect to Reuben, you had guys like Dale Warren with his season high in tackles. You had Eli Walker was aggressive. It seemed like the game plan to there are a lot of people that filled in for Reuben Foster and what he would do on certain plays. So it feels like the defense is really good. This is another challenge this week for the defense because they do have some wide receivers. We'll get into it. Special teams, 5 out of 10. Chris Blewett made it. Matt Mango, did you see the snap that he lost? Got it, put it back down, and they kicked it. It just seems like these two guys, and that's the reason why they're the photo, are just on the same page. And it's just amazing in 2 weeks that it just became like that so fast. But 5 out of 10. The only reason why they're not higher, Deon Cain, right? Deon Cain returning that kick really killed him. So we're on to week 5 in Detroit against the Panthers. Probably the biggest crowd they may see all year. Maybe not because it's an early game. And then Memphis next year. The 2 themes, pounce. Yes, that's a cat reference. They got to be able to punch this team in the mouth. This team is down. This team has lost their last 2 games after everyone crowned them as the Northern champs. And they just lost to the Showboats. This is the time to pounce on them. This is the time that the red zone touchdowns have to be converted. As you can see, that was number 2. This is the time when Olive gets another sack more than Breland Speaks, who he's tied with for the league lead. This is the time that Reuben Foster gets healthy. Tizino continues to dominate. The corners continue to keep the passing games in front of them, and when it's there, taking the chance for the interception. This is the time to get the running game going. This is the team that you needed to see, and they are desperate right now. And if they come out and they punch them right in the face, and we'll get into the 4 words, there's no reason why the Maulers don't win this game. And red zone touchdowns. Red zone touchdowns, I believe 3 weeks ago, my word was block, 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 block. I'm not going to say red zone touchdowns 18 times, but that's definitely one of the keys. Who to prep for? Joe Walker, big play wide receiver. I know everyone wants to talk about Reggie Corbin and Stevie Scott, and while they're respected, it doesn't seem like the running game outside of that one game where he had over 100 yards is going right now. Like it's not, and our run defense is fine. Talking about the Maulers. Joe Walker he's 4th in the league in targets. He's been throwing the ball 31 times. It doesn't matter if it's Carson Strong, Eric Berrier, who he played with last year, or Josh Love. Everyone's throwing the ball to him. I know Berrier hasn't thrown a ball yet, but even last year, Berrier was thrown to Joe Walker. Joe Walker's a big target. We got to take him out of the plays. He's got 19 catches. I believe it's top 5 in the league. 226 yards and 2 touchdowns. It's a big play. Yeah, Hyman, which is the photo before. You've got Trey Quinn. Like, they've got a lot of weapons on offense. Just got to be able to get to the quarterback, put pressure on them, and you'll be able to contain them. So it really comes down to the defensive line. And the other guy is Breland Speaks. Big play guy. Of course, he had 3 sacks in week 1, so he's only had 1 in the last 3 games. But he's a big defensive end, SEC guy, right? Went to Ole Miss, so he's got the prototype, and he's got obviously got the skills. Him and Olive, and that's the reason why I really put him up here. Him and Olive lead the league in sacks with 4. So it'd be good to see Olive get a couple and Breland to get 0 against our offensive line, and then Olive can run away with a sack lead. Hammer Finder of the week. We're going to start with the left. Braden Patton. Right? Braden Patton represents the offensive line. The offensive line has to protect for the running back, for Trey to get more time to develop this. Troy. No, I keep calling him Trey. I'm looking at Trey Walker. for Troy Williams to pass the ball and continue to develop that passing game that had over 200 yards. The offensive line needs to continue to protect, right? In the red zone, we've got to be able to get the tough yards, continue the drives. Offensive line is the key to all that. So Braden Patton, who's the captain, is my hammer finder for the week. Trey Walker. Walker came back after missing a few games, and you could tell the offense had a little bit more spunk to it. Of course, Walker and Williams played high school ball together in California, and they already have a relationship. And now Troy is settled in a little bit more. I can see Trey Walker going off this week. I really can see Trey Walker. I called him Troy Walker, so I'm backwards. Sorry, guys. Funny thing is they're both T-dubs. I could see Trey going off for one of his better games of his USFL career. This week, I really do see it. I see this offensive game, this passing game, developing every week, and I'm going to call my shot Trey Walker this week. Keith Gibson Jr. played tremendous last week. Really wasn't burnt for a lot. Interception, right? When it was there, he took it. Otherwise, an aggressive. This is a big week for him. He's got Joe Walker, like I said, Trey Quinn, Hyman. They've got a lot of receivers, so the corners would definitely have to play their top game against this team. And don't give this team, the Josh Love or Carson Strong or Eric Berry or whoever they start as quarterback, don't give them any sign of hope, right? They've had a terrible last 2 weeks. As Mauler fans, we know what it can do when your team has back-to-back bad weeks, and like we did in 2022. Like, it's time to just kick them down and just keep them down, and let's finish them off. And they're the team in front of us, right? The Maulers are one game back of the playoff. I know it would have been great to get the win last week, but the whole North lost, so no one gained anything. We just lost a week. Now you control your own destiny with the Panthers twice, right? You got the Boats, the Gamblers, and then you got the Stars and Generals one more time. Like, the Maulers control their destiny 100% because they play all the teams in front of them, and they play the team directly in front of them twice, and then they play the team below them once. And I guess the Generals are directly in front of them as well because they're 2-2. But hammer finders of the week: offensive line, wide receivers, and corners. 4 things. So this is my segment that I created last week, and I got some good feedback from it. Where I go to where I get my graphics, and I type in a word that I want to show, and whatever the first picture is what I put up here. The first one, the jet, is stealth. The corners need to be stealth. They need to eliminate this passing game. I just said it. And they will be able to eliminate the confidence of the Michigan Panthers in their passing game. Excuse me. Thank you. The second one is ascending. Keep maintaining momentum. This team has gotten better and better every single week. I'm talking about the Maulers. Keep ascending because this team is pretty good. I think it can be a playoff team. I really do. Actually, my game picks for this week are all the teams I think are going to make the playoffs. So tune into USFL Authority and get all my picks, and my playoff picks. The third is punch. Hit first instead of getting hit first. Field goals are great. Chris Blewett has been tremendous with Mangle and Loving Good. This team, the Maulers, got to learn how to punch first. That means score first. They have a drive. It stalls in the red zone. They have a big, long, an interception returned inside the red zone. We're going for a field goal. We've got to be able to punch another team in the face offensively. It can't be the defense all the time. This is the perfect game to do that, right? This is an absolute perfect game to punch first. So that's the third picture. And the fourth picture is dog. They need to be dog today. They need to play like a dog. Toughness. Offensive line needs to be aggressive with their Mike Nolan's defense coach. They're gonna come up with something. they need toughness. The team needs toughness. The defense is doing it for the most part. Let's continue to develop as an complete team. Before I get going, once again, I'll move the microphone. The Boogie Monster and Boogie We Trust. If you go to that website, I'll put that in. I know Boogie's got it everywhere. It's Boogie's clothing line. He designed it, and it helps support Boogie, the GOAT of the league, the biggest personality, the movie star. fanarts.com/collections/Boogie-Roberts. Real simple. I ordered mine about 8 days ago, and I got it yesterday, or 9 days ago, and it comes almost instantly. So definitely recommend it. Soft. There's multiple colors. It's not just the gray. I just got the gray because I feel like it's the safest. The red. They've got white. There's quite a few colors. Get a Boogie Roberts merch for someone in your life, the Mauler fan in your life. But thank you for tuning in to Hammer Time. It's been fun. Dinner with Webb. It's Wednesdays, 5 p.m. Eastern, every single Wednesday. Thank you guys for your support. Right now, Mauler show has been one of the better shows in terms of views and rankings and all that, and I really appreciate that. If you guys got any feedback, leave a comment. I always try to get back, especially on the YouTube page. I always try to get back to anyone that leaves a comment. The Iron Guard, I didn't even bring it up because I was talking about offensive line, but the Iron Guard, that nickname for the defense, the Steelers have the Steel Curtain. We have the Iron Guard. That came from a comment on YouTube. I'm always willing to the 4 words, the 4 theme words where I type it in. That idea started from a comment on YouTube. So leave a comment on the YouTube. Let's discuss Mauler football. I love this team. I love following this league. Tune in to USFL Authority, all the Team Wednesdays, USFL Network. Tell me about it on Tuesdays. We got you covered everywhere. But there's only one place for Hammer Time, right? 5 p.m. Wednesdays. I'm Webb. Hammer down, hammer up, Webb out.